For the back of the vehicle, let's begin back here. There's a piece right in here. Let's take a look at that. I'll hit the division key and isolate it. And I can see right up front that we haven't applied the scale here yet, so I'll press Control A and apply the scale. Also, we have a mirror modifier on it, so I think we're going to need to apply this. We've got clipping enabled, so that's good. Let's click Apply. And now that we've done that, we don't really need this center edge, right? We can Alt-click this and hit X and dissolve edges. So that reduces the poly count a little bit. Next, I guess we could, well, begin breaking out the bottom pieces again. So let's just grab these edges here and mark seams, and then these down here, and let's do the same here. And then we just, let's grab these corners that we have here. And let's split these corners out again. And this one, probably this one, and these up front. Or I guess in the back of the vehicle, right? All right, so let's try this. Let's hit A, and let's hit U, and unwrap. Yep, that looks pretty good. Let's add a test pattern to it to see how it looks. It all looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and hit the division key and keep moving on. What else? Well, how about this thing right here? Let's hit the division key and work on this. This too needs its scale applied, so let's press Control A and apply the scale. We tab into edit mode. We have to keep these pieces, I think, the end caps on this, but we could go ahead and split these out like this. I mean, this is going to be a fairly uniform color for the texture, so I don't think putting seams down here would be a problem. Also, if we hit Alt and click this edge, let's maybe mark a seam here, and then I'll just hit L and, oh, let me turn off seam here. And then let's just try this. We'll try conformal, maybe a little bit better, but that's actually pretty good. All right, so for these things here, let's just grab these edges at the bottom, and then we can grab the edges around the ends here and even deselect one of the edges like that, so it'll stay connected to the tube. And then let's move around here. Alt-click there, Alt-Shift-click there, and then Shift-click here just to deselect those. All right, let's go ahead and select the whole thing and press U and unwrap. I think that'll work pretty well. Let's go ahead and add the material onto it and take a look. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, hit the division key and go back. What about these things? Let's work on this. Hit the division key. So for this, it looks like we can do just about the same thing. We need to apply the scale. Control A. And then, well, it looks like this is already selected. So let's just mark seams there. And then I can select that face and press Control E and mark seams, and it'll grab all those edges. And then let me tab back into object mode here and hit the division key just to make sure which is the back and which is the front. I think back here, this edge on the bottom here is probably what we want. Alt-click here. Oh, still in face mode, so let me hit the 2 key and then Alt-click here. Let's add that seam. And then let me hit the division key to go back. All right, I think we've got all those in place. Let's select everything and hit U and unwrap. Looks pretty good. Does angle base give us anything better? Maybe a little bit better. Hard to tell, but I think that's pretty good. All right, we've got that. That looks okay. Let's hit the division key and this thing right here. Well, this is pretty basic, but I think it's worth going ahead and adding seams to it. Let's apply the scale, Control A. Let's select these up here and mark those seams. Oh, I missed these. Here we go. Now, down here, we've got this kind of 2-level thing going on here. So we could split out one here and one here, but I think probably what would be better is if we split it all along here, as if this was a continuous bottom of the object here. So let's grab these edges along here, like this. Mark those seams, and then we can grab, say, one seam or one edge along here and mark the seam there. And that'll open that up at that point there. So let's try this. Let's hit A, U, and unwrap. Yeah, so I think that looks pretty good. Let's add that material. And yeah, let's take a look at something else. Oh, you know what we could do? I'm going to wait to do the tires to almost the very end, but let's grab this thing right here, the strap that's holding the tire on. It looks like the scale has been applied, so that's good. I think for this, what I'd like to do is just select these seams or these edges along either side on the top and apply seams there. And then maybe select this entire edge loop here to apply or mark seams and split those out so it's kind of all one piece. So let's take a look at that. I'll select everything, hit the A key, U, and unwrap. And there we go, yeah. So that basically splits it into two pieces, the outside and the inside. Let's go ahead and add a test pattern and see how it looks. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, the division key. And what else? Well, let's take a look at this oddly shaped trailer hitch. Let's see what we can do with this. I'll hit the division key. Let's go ahead and apply the scale. And let's tab into edit mode. And I think what I'd like to do is split out this top from the bottom, because we've got seams right down in here that are kind of hidden away, so we can split that out from the bottom here. And also I may want to split out the main hook here from the back panel. So let's go ahead and select this and get that seam done. So we know we want that. These down here, I think, let's mark those. And these in here, let's mark these. Now, did I get all of them? Let's take a look. I'll press Alt-Z. And no, they didn't go all the way around. So, well, we could go ahead and select these here and press Control-E, mark seam. And these look like they're a little bit too low here. Let's just grab these. Let me go to the Move gizmo, and let's just bring this up just a little bit so those are not quite overlapping that as much. All right, so I'm going to press Alt-Z, and so if we do this, we've got this thing, which is a tube. So we ought to open this up at a seam so it lays out flat. So if we selected this edge right here, Alt-click this, it'll go all the way around here. So yeah, and this is a tube as well, so we need to open that up at that seam as well. So, okay, this will work, I think. Let's mark a seam there. And if we're going to split it here, we should probably split it here as well. Let's do that. And then if we're going to split this there, we should probably extend it up into here too. Let's do that. And oh, there's one right down here. Let's grab that. Mark seam. Okay, so I think we've got seams here, so each of these tubes will lay out flat, will open up at these seams and lay out flat. So let's take a look. I'll hit the A key, U, and unwrap. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's look at conformal. Oh, that's a little better. Yeah, now we could also split some seams out here if we wanted, just to lay that a little bit flatter. Let's try it. Okay. You unwrap. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. And these, you know, they don't look too bad, actually. I mean, there's this green part, but I think that's underneath here or here. So let's add the test material and take a look at it. It's not great, but it's not bad. We've got some stretching in here and back here. I don't think anyone's ever going to see this hidden away back here. We could split out that seam on the top, but I just don't think it's worth it. I think this is going to be okay. So let's go ahead and go with this. I'll hit the division key to go back. And let's, while we're doing this, let's go ahead and grab one of these. Let's work on this. This is very similar to the one up front. our scale has been applied, go ahead and tab into edit mode and select edges all along here. And, well, I think we'll probably need an edge or a seam right here as well. So let's go ahead and mark these, see what we get. Okay, we're almost all the way around. Let's go ahead and press Alt, Shift, and click these and mark these seams. All right. Now let's work on the circles in here. Let's go ahead and grab this and this. And we'll grab these edges on the top of the cylinders there. And let's break these out as well here. All right, so we've got those seams there. It's going to break this strip at that seam there, so maybe that'll be okay. Let's hit U and unwrap. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I feel like this is a very long piece, like we don't need it that long. I think this seam here is going to be hidden fairly well, so let's go ahead and add that, and it'll break this strip into 2 pieces. Let's see if that helps at all. Yeah, a little bit better. Okay, I think that'll work. Let's go ahead and add the material. And that looks pretty good. They're all fairly even. They're all squares. Yeah, I'd buy that. Okay, so let's hit the division key. And we can delete this now over here and mirror this over. So I'll move the origin to the 3D cursor in the center of the grid and mirror it over here. And it's way down here, which tells us, the rotation is off. We need to apply the rotation. Control A, apply the rotation. There we go. All right, so in the next video, what let's do is come down here and work on this area around the rear axle.